So welcome to our channel. We're destined to explore. I'm Tom.
I'm Marquita. And we're on episode 7.
Yeah, amazing.
It is. We cannot believe we have been at this for, well, 6 videos at least.
Yeah, yep.
Which is at this point where we are today.
Yep.
What is it? It's almost 2 months.
Yep.
No, it's almost 3 months.
Almost 3 months, yep.
Yeah.
So this video we're gonna answer some viewer questions.
And we're gonna share some hikes too.
Yeah.
We can't have a video without some hikes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got quite a few viewer questions, and we've got 4 that we're going to answer.
So what's different about living in an RV versus living in a house or sticks and bricks?
The other one is, one we got a lot was, what are the biggest surprises or disappointments that we've experienced so far? So that's a good question. And another question is, what has been most memorable of the places that we've seen? Has it been national parks or other non-national park destinations?
Yep.
So we'll talk about that.
So the other question that people keep asking is, where are we now and where are we heading next?
So we'll be telling you about that too. And finally, we did have a request for a video on what it takes to set up and tear down our RV as we move from place to place. And we're definitely going to do that, but we're going to have to make that a separate video because it's pretty involved to all fit into one video. So we are going to launch into the answers to these questions, but not before we do what we always do, which is show you a couple of epic hikes that we went on in our newest locations.
Yes.
So we'll get you on the other side. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we are headed towards Sedona. We are staying in Camp Verde because it was kind of the closest we could get to Sedona without paying a fortune or being without service.
Yeah, since we couldn't find boondocking.
But we're in a fine RV park.
Yeah.
So we're heading up to the Red Rock area, and we have some fun stuff planned today. We're going to hike Bell Rock. We're going to go out to Devil's Bridge. So we will share with you what we discover as we go along and give you the thumbs up and thumbs down on stuff. We'll hitch up in a little bit. Would you like to describe the section of trail we just went through?
So yeah, we're on the, what is it?
Bell Rock.
Bell Rock Trail. And this is the one that's labeled, what, rock climb?
Yes,
Because you
Bell
go,
Rock climb.
Because you go up around the rock.
This is not Bell Rock behind
No.
us. This is it over here.
Right back here.
Mm-hmm.
But the trail has been ever so slightly sketchy in spots. So this is the trail that we've come on. I can find the thing here. The trail runs along here and then along the little edge over here. And it's felt a little sketchy at times because it drops off at in points. But it's never been super steep. It's just that there's been a bit of a drop on the side.
So we are on the south side of Bell Rock. By the way, shout out to Teresa, my sister, who we hiked this one time. I don't think we came around this side, but we did hike Bell Rock. So I'm thinking of you as we're crawling around on the rocks and trying not to die. I guess I shouldn't say it like that. But anyway, more to come.
So we're here at the Devil's Bridge right back here. Bit of scampering on the way up. Great big line of people here waiting to get their pictures
Show them the line of people
taken out there.
The nice thing is they're all nicely standing in line, and each one takes the person in front of them's picture when they go out there, like that guy is. So nice, but we don't care enough to go out there and stand in line.
We got a selfie from the rock. So that's
and actually, the prettiest part of this hike. What?
Here we go.
Oh, there's the scary guy. Oh, that always makes me nervous.
I think that's the wrong guy.
I don't know. Anyway, the main part of this hike was pretty flat and in the heat of the day. We were actually on a OHV trail. The last part was a scramble. We should capture some of it
Yeah,
going
we'll
back
get some
down.
back going on the way down.
So, all right.
That's it.
So I got some questions from a couple of people saying, you know, how do you do things differently, both in the rig, but also when you're boondocking where you're not hooked up anywhere. How do you do things differently? And so I thought I'd just show, not necessarily the whole thing, but part of what we do. So what I, first of all, have done, and I would do this probably whether we were hooked up or not, is when I'm making something that's smelly like bacon, I want to do it outside the rig so it doesn't stink up the rig and make it smell like a diner. And I have a lot more space on my Blackstone griddle. It's a griddle. And so I love this griddle because it gives me lots of space, and especially with just two of us, I can cook a whole meal on it. So number one, I'm using a propane griddle to cook, and I'm cooking more than I normally would, just so that I don't stink up the rig, and it makes it easy when if we're on the run and doing a lot of things like we're going to be doing tomorrow. So that's the first thing. And the other thing that I do differently when we are boondocking is paper plates, because we have to conserve water, and not just water, our fresh water that we use to wash dishes, but also try not to fill up the gray tanks, which is where the water goes when I wash dishes. So we use paper plates, and when we can, we burn them in a burn pit. So remember, when we're boondocking, we have our freshwater tank that we fill before we get here. We have our gray tanks, which are the tanks into which our sink water goes into one, both the kitchen sink and the bathroom sink, and our shower water goes into another. Both of those are called gray tanks. And then we, of course, have our toilet tank, which is a black tank. So the way to lengthen our time is to A, not use up all of our fresh water, and B, not fill up our gray tanks so much that we have to go empty them, because that requires us to move the camper to do that. So one of the ways that we do that conservation here, in particular with the gray water, is that the only thing that we dirty is cooking utensils, things that we need to, can't cook on paper plates. So just to give you an idea of what this looks like to do dishes. So don't judge me, but this literally, what you see here is the dishes on the side. There's silverware and cups in there, and utensils, and a couple of things that need to be washed here. This represents about 3 days worth of dishes. The other thing you'll see is I've got a tub in the sink, because I don't want to fill the whole sink with water, because it's a waste of water. And I'll show you later what we do with that water to prevent putting too much down the drain, and therefore filling up our gray tanks. So I'm going to do the dishes, and then I'll come back. For a lot of folks, they dump that water outside, like you do when you're tent camping, but we don't do that, because despite the fact that we are trying to conserve, not fill the tanks too much, we need some water in the gray tanks to be able to help flush the black tanks when we go to flush out. So there's hardly been any water that's gone down the kitchen sink. We can go ahead and dump this down the kitchen sink so that we have some in reserve to help flush the black tanks when we actually go to dump the black tanks. One of the ways that we preserve more water is in the way we do our shower. Okay, would you like to describe a sailor shower?
Yeah, so we have a little valve on the shower head that we can just click it, and it turns the shower head on or off, so we don't have to readjust the water. But basically what we do is we get in the shower, we turn the water on, get it to the right temperature, and so we just get wet. We turn the shower head off, we do all our soaping and washing, and then we turn the shower head back on and just rinse all the soap off, and then we shut the shower off. So it's probably only a minute or so of shower run time.
And it works fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I get enough water to feel showered and all that. So so that's the way we conserve, again, water and not filling gray tank. That's our story today. Bye. So the next question that we got from viewers, as we mentioned earlier, is what are the biggest surprises or disappointments that we've experienced so far in this new RV life?
Yep.
So I'll start because I have one that really kind of was hard for me. Was up till about a month ago, I really was frustrated. It felt like the only choices for camping was either a really tight, crowded RV park, or that was right on a highway, or being out in the boonies where it's great and pretty, but you can't really connect or have any community with other people. And I thought those are the only two choices. But as we'll share a little bit later, we have discovered here in the last month that we have kind of the best of both worlds in our current RV park. And so I found that there is a place to really enjoy sort of a combination of being out in nature, but still have community. So that was sort of a challenge, but I think we've resolved it. So that was one of our challenges.
Yep. So one of the other challenges that we've kind of experienced is, we've loved if the few times we've gotten out and dispersed, camped, and been out and away from things. But the challenge is finding those places. Can be finding them and trying to figure out whether you can even fit in them or not has been a challenge as well.
Mm-hmm. And to kind of give you a little more insight on that, we got a video clip to show you about one of those days we were trying to find boondocking. So that'll be coming right up. The challenge that we're finding with boondocking is everything's a trade-off. So the benefit of boondocking, besides it being free, is typically you're spaced way out from people, as we've said, and that's kind of nice to not have people, chock-a-block next to you. But also you tend to be in some really beautiful scenery. So that's the benefit. The downside, to Tom's point, is we have so many checkpoints of things that we need in order to boondock. So because Tom works, yep, we need to be at a place where he can get a signal. And right now, we're actually at a place we were scoping out a boondocking place, and we got one bar. And for him to work, he needs to have more. So it's not just, we have to find a place, first of all, that has cell coverage. Second of all, has accessibility for us with the rig behind us.
With a big rig. With
a big rig. So it's road conditions, but it also is there overhanging trees that are going to, we've run into branches before.
Ruts or sand or whatever it is. So.
And then it's accessible. Can we get in with the big rig, and then is there anything there? And so it actually becomes a scouting mission. So today we're just going to go get a campground.
Yep.
And we're fine with that. We're going to be in an area where we can find some places to hike and
yep,
and hang out, and
yep,
doesn't really matter if we're in a campground.
Yeah, we're not 10 miles down a rough dirt gravel road.
Right.
So on to plan B.
Plan B, still not a bad deal.
No,
right?
No, we'll find something.
Yep. All right, so that's our boondocking conundrum
mm-hmm,
for today.
So I don't know if we'll call it a surprise or not, but
a pleasant surprise.
A pleasant surprise, yeah. But living in close quarters, about 350 square feet, practically 24/7, being together almost all the time, has gone pleasantly well, which I kind of expected it would anyways, but not necessarily for the faint of heart if you're maybe
if you don't like your spouse.
Yeah, don't like your spouse.
Or don't like them that much. Yeah, it's been great. The final thing that I think has been a challenge that we didn't expect was connecting socially with people like our friends or family who want to join us on our travels, but we are struggling with our rig is too small to have people for more than one night overnight. We have a fold-out couch that's in our dining room, living room, kitchen.
Although we haven't tried it yet, but we know it would be really tight.
Yeah, so we see that maybe a day or two. But if we want to have people come and stay with us or stay where we are, mm-hmm, it's almost like we either have to get a place with them, we have to find a place to put our rig. It's much more complicated. And the other part is, I was thinking in this RV park that we have made some friends, I would love to have people over for appetizers or something, and it's kind of tiny. It's not a huge deal, but certainly the thing about trying to meet up with our friends and family in our route, because our route is unplanned a lot.
Yeah, and we don't somebody says, well, I can come in the middle of February. Well, we don't know where we're going to be in February.
Right.
So that makes it hard to plan ahead.
And if they don't camp, if they don't have a camper, then it's where are they going to stay, and how are we going to meet up? And so we have to work out the kinks, but that would be one of the, I would say, a challenge, not a disappointment.
Yeah.
But I think we would both say overall, it's at least exceeded our expectations in terms of, I love the life we're living,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not disappointed really about anything.
Yeah.
There's challenges we got to figure out.
Yeah.
But would you say that's true
Yeah,
for you?
that's true.
Okay. So that's that question. All right. So another question is, what has been more memorable, the national parks that we visited, or other non-national park destinations that we've seen? So
Yeah, and there's no denying the beauty at the national parks. It's pretty
so
amazing.
let's remember which national parks have we been to?
We've been to Canyonlands, just kind of briefly just gone through it.
Arches.
We've been through Arches, and we didn't spend a lot of time in either one of those. Just
But we have in the past.
We have in the past,
We know
yeah.
those.
We went to Bryce, spent a day there. We went to
Zion.
Spent several days there. Zion was pretty incredible.
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon, you know, that was amazing. The one thing I'd say about Grand Canyon though is, you know, we saw pretty much everywhere you could see in Grand Canyon, but a lot of it looked the same.
Well, right.
So I mean, if somebody wants to go to the Grand Canyon and spend half a day there, you know, I think you can do it and legitimately have a pretty decent view of what it looks like. But you're not gonna see everything. But again, a lot of it looks the same.
Yep. And so some of the non-national park things that we've done is, I think probably an epic one for us is Lower Antelope Canyon.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the top things.
Yeah. Lake Powell. I don't think that was that a national park?
No. Well, I think it is actually maybe a national monument where we were, because we used our park pass to get in there. That was, you know, as far as, a place to visit, you could easily be in and out of there. But I absolutely love staying on that beach and just having that scenery all week long. It's, you know, it's not maybe someplace you go hiking or do a lot of that, but just being able to be there and experience that, I thought was really good.
Yeah, and I would say I've loved the national parks too, but we've had some great hikes. I think even we were in Cedar Breaks, and there was nothing going on there, but there was a hike, and I don't think we captured it on a video, but Thor's hideaway or hideout.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was a lot, you know, being on all these great hikes where there's nobody around. And so I would say, I don't know that you could pick one or the other, but I would say of the non-park places we've been, a highlight is Lower Antelope Canyon.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of the national parks that we've been in, I would say this time Zion was pretty amazing, and I was really proud of hiking Angel's Landing as much as I did.
That was great.
So I don't know if it has to do with national parks or versus not, but I would say too, the national parks is where everything was most crowded.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you're dealing with parking and that kind of stuff, but all these other places we've had many hikes all by ourselves.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we answered the question, but I'd say it's a great country. Get out and experience it, because it's unbelievable.
Yep, exactly.
So there's that. All right. So the last viewer question was, where are you now and where are you going next? So where are we now is we are in a little village called Queen Valley, Arizona. We are about an hour east of Phoenix in the Superstition Mountains, and we are in what's called the Queen Valley RV Resort. So as I alluded to earlier, this RV resort, when we were coming here, I was really afraid that RV resorts were going to be full of people that were riding golf carts and knitting on their front porches and playing shuffleboard. I acknowledge that's all really biased and judgy sounding. But I was afraid we were going to be in some cement-walled kind of parking lot thing, because we've seen a lot of those.
Yeah.
But this place has dispelled that notion for me, and we have loved it here. We have been here now for a month, and we have enjoyed every bit of it. So what I would tell you is the things that we found that were refreshing is What have we gotten to do since we've been here?
Well, they've got some great happy hours. We've gone out and played. We started playing pickleball, tried that out, and have really enjoyed that.
Whoa! Nice.
Yes! We've gone out for Jeep rides and hikes with people here. We've met, I mean, literally we've met more people at this park than probably we really know in our neighborhood back home.
Yes, absolutely. People are extremely friendly. And, you know, when he's talking about happy hours, it's really just a gathering of the people on our street outside in this little lovely area with a fire, chimney and chairs. And they basically go out and watch the sunset every night and talk and catch up.
Yeah.
And so they have been extremely friendly, and we've had a chance to do some lovely things, and they're very active. I mean, next to every golf cart is a side-by-side.
Yeah.
So you see just as many side-by-sides going around here. So they do a lot. They're very active, and the setting is unbelievable. So just to give you an idea, we were expecting, or I was expecting, we were going to be in some cement-walled flat place. Where we're standing is right outside the RV park. So I'm going to whip it around for you so that you can see. That is the Queen Valley Campground RV park. It's not all of it, but the setting is right in the base of the Superstition Mountains, and we are surrounded by beauty and quiet. We are not near a freeway, so we are delighted so far with our experience here, and hope we find many more like this. So the second part of that question is, where are we going next?
Well, as of today, the plan has changed multiple times, but the plan is we're going to be here until about the 15th of January, and from there we're going to head toward Quartzsite, and Quartzsite is a huge RV winter place.
Dispersed camping.
Dispersed, lots of dispersed camping. We understand it can be kind of quirky and weird at times.
Yeah. So it's kind of a thing in the RV world to go to Quartzsite or not, depending on how crazy you think it's going to be. So that's our plan, and we appreciate you coming along. One of the things that we want to remind you is we love the questions. We'd love to hear from you about what you want to know more about. If you want to have ideas or suggestions for content, that'd be great. We'd love to, please put them in the comment section of the YouTube channel, because that helps us keep track of what it is that people are looking for, more so than on the Facebook page. But keep the questions coming, because it's fun to answer them and to share this journey with you. So until next time, we are destined to explore.